Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with another video. Today I want to talk about Moondrop's newest headphone, the Moondrop Joker. Now the Moondrop brand is kind of well known for their IEMs, but now they've gone into the headphone game. So today we're going to figure out how good their headphones are. Now I do think this headphone is quite interesting because they market this as a studio product, and they actually even have the measurements of this headphone really for you to see. So we can already see that it is a little bit bright, and we'll be doing the unboxing. And of course, we'll be discussing this as regards to music and gaming. And spoiler alert, for some reason, the latest things I've been testing are really good for gaming, especially FPS gaming. If you want to kind of tell where your enemies are by their footsteps, this is really good. And we'll talk about that in more detail as well. And honestly, the build of this is kind of very similar to like a Sennheiser headphone. So I'll be doing a little comparison to a Sennheiser headphone because of that. And this also kind of draws inspiration from other kind of well-known headphones. So MDR10 is apparently like one of those really popular headphones that a lot of people have kind of drew inspiration from. Hyphen has done it, and now the Moondrop has drawn inspiration from it. So we've been seeing these bigger cup designs in the back, and these bigger cup designs do really help a lot with the soundstage and the perceived soundstage, and then also apparently helps with their tuning capability as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works as well. All right, so let's unbox the Moondrop Joker. So as you see, we always get the nice anime kind of artwork in front, and this one is actually, you know, kind of alludes to what it is. This is supposedly a professional monitor headphone, so you can see her monitoring, and she has her own microphone, so it kind of reminds you of like streamers type of things going on. So that's what we have. So on the back of this, we have the frequency response, right? So, you know, in this, you can kind of tell some interesting things. Looking at it closely, you can see that the sub bass kind of rolls off a little bit, which is, I mean, pretty normal for this price range of $80. We have the mid-range just a little bit, nothing too concerning. It's when we get to the treble that does look a little concerning to me. It looks like the upper mid-range is definitely emphasized a little bit. And then this one little spike over here around, it looks like 6-7K, that could also be a little concerning. Having a little treble increase around 8K is pretty normal. And generally it's actually kind of preferred to have a little bit of a treble spike there because it kind of gives you more detail up there. Take this off. Have the headset. Oh, I guess it's only a headphone because there's no microphone, but yeah. We have some accessories, which should be the cable. Get a colored pink girl hair rendition and a little booklet of the product description. Comes with a 1/4-inch adapter. And then here is the cable that it comes with, which is, you know, a dual entry into a 3.5mm. So also, I do want to thank APOS Audio for sending this headphone out for review. So if you guys are interested in purchasing this, I will leave a link to APOS down below. And the reason why I think you should purchase from APOS is they have a 2-year warranty, where a lot of other companies only have 1-year warranty when you buy from them. All right, let's take a close look at this headphone. Honestly, this headphone, if I put the Sennheiser right next to it, like, come on, can you not see this resemblance right here on top? This actually has a cushier pad, but very similar. You can see this metal headband design as well. And oh, look at that, Sennheiser also does the same thing, very similar, huh? Now, if I put these next to each other, you can see how the cup is angled forward on the right and the left side. So both headphones are also similar in the cup shape and kind of the angle. These headphones are designed really well, and they obviously drew some inspiration from the Sennheiser. And then we go to the kind of the pads on this as well. So the pads on this are actually hybrids. So there's some leather over here, and then we have the kind of cloth over here. So that kind of keeps it from getting too hot. If it was just all leather, then it would, you know, heat up. And of course the Sennheisers are just all velour, so they're always pretty airy as well. If you like this one, or you like the Sennheisers, then you'll probably like the Joker as well. And the Joker is actually way cheaper than most Sennheiser headphones. The Joker is only $80, while this one is, you know, $170 I think now. The overall comfort of this headphone, there's not really much clamping force on here. Like it fits really well. It doesn't like overly clamp like the Sennheiser does. There's much more padding on top, so the padding on top is very soft and comfortable. And these pads are also pretty plushy, as you can see. So honestly, this is a very comfortable headphone to wear, and I have no issues with it at all. And the adjustments are all there that you need. It can kind of move in all directions. So yeah, it fits really well and is very comfortable. Now the pads are also removable, so you can kind of just pull these out and you can see the driver inside, and then you can just stick it back in like that and it's done. The driver is not angled, but the pads are angled, which helps with the imaging. So if you look at the pad in the front and then I turn around to the back, you can see how the pad is definitely angled forward. There's less in the front. And the funny thing is the cups are also angled forward. So you can see these cups right here are also just angled. So the whole headphone is really angled to like in front of you, which is quite interesting, right? And I do think this cup design that was inspired by the Sony MDR headphone really does kind of increase the soundstage kind of experience for me, at least, because for a closed back, it does sound pretty open. All right, so let's talk about sound. So as you can see from the measurement, there is a little bit of a sub bass roll off. Nice bass and mid-range, honestly, they're pretty much on target. They sound great. It's only when you get to the treble where you get a little bit overemphasis in the upper mid-range in the treble and a little bit in the upper treble as well. And overall, I do find this headphone to be really well tuned from the bass to the mid-range. I think everybody would enjoy it right there. It's just when you get to the treble, that's where it gets a little bit too extended and a little bit fatiguing. But in general, I did find it, slightly enhanced in that region, and really that part also kind of takes away from it sounding as natural as it could be. So I do hope Moondrop would, reduce that treble in the future. But honestly, for people who like bright headphones, this would probably be a-okay for them, and they would like that. So that just leads to kind of a lot of female vocals and those like higher frequencies like gunshots and everything to sound just a little bit, overemphasized, enhanced. A lot of the S's and T's as well get a little bit overly enhanced. Now, some people do believe that a kind of enhanced treble region helps them kind of pick out that type of information while they're doing editing and stuff like that. So if you're into that type of view, then I do think these might be good for that. It kind of reminds me of like Beyerdynamic headphones, but the Beyerdynamic headphones also enhance like a different region, generally around 8,000 kilohertz. But overall, I would say the sound is pretty enjoyable, just a little bit bright. So as long as you don't mind bright headphones, I do think people will enjoy this. We gotta talk about soundstage and imaging, and that's clearly where this really shines a lot. So the bigger cups on this and that weird angle cup design as well. I think they call it like an asymmetrical something. And they also have angle pads. So instead of angle drivers, the angle pads help with the imaging, right? And then because of the bigger cups, it has a bigger soundstage. So overall, for closed back, it soundstages really well, and it images like laser point sharp. Like I was playing games on Valorant, and I kid you not, you could hear people through walls. I could literally tell exactly where they are pinpointed. Now, that's something I noticed recently when I'm reviewing a lot of these kind of headphones. I talk about imaging, is that there's definitely a variance of imaging depending on where your ear is placed. So as long as your ear is placed in the correct position, I would say a little bit more forward on this headphone, then you're gonna get the optimal positioning for good imaging. Because sometimes people say like these headphones image badly. I'm just like kind of confused, like how is that possible? But I've also had the experience with other headphones where if your ear isn't in the right point, then the imaging can kind of sound a little weird. So I would just say make sure you find the right spot when you put the headphone on your head. For FPS gaming, this is an easy recommendation. And I feel like I've been noticing lately while I review these headphones is like the headphones that have a little bit more, I guess, upper mid-range, lower treble type of emphasis seem to also perform really well in video games for some reason, and just being able to tell where the enemy is located. So it seems to be a common theme that I've been finding out. And yeah, that's just something I want to let you guys know, and that's quite interesting to me. So I just want to do a quick comparison between the Moondrop Joker and the Shure 840A. This is a studio headphone that is $150, so it's 2 times more expensive, and it's one of my favorite studio headphones. The first thing I notice about these two is, honestly, this thing can swivel all the way, but if you look at the top padding, there's not really much of it on here, versus this one has a lot more, so it is a little bit more comfortable. This actually has just plastic, it doesn't even have metal right here, versus the Joker that's half the price is actually built a little bit better in that one point. The pads on this are all leather versus these, you know, are a little bit more airy. However, the thing I did find the difference between this is this one isolates sound a lot better versus this one does not. But then, you know, if you look at kind of the cup size of each of these, like this is really thin, like a lot of studio headphones are. And while this is way thicker, right, because it's, you know, trying to be like the Sony headphones, right? And so you can kind of tell, but like the soundstage of this is really small. It's not very wide at all. It sounds very next to your head, versus the Joker is actually a lot better. And the imaging of this is actually also terrible, right? I mean, look, it's literally 2 drivers next to your head and there's no depth, right? Versus the Joker actually has angle on the pads and everything to kind of push the imaging more forward, right? When it comes to soundstage imaging, this is also better. But something I did notice about this overall sound quality of the Shure, I definitely do prefer. It has actual sub-bass like rumble, one of the best I've heard before. And you know, the treble and the mid-range are also very good. But there are aspects about this headphone that are actually better than headphones that are 2 times the price. So if I had to just summarize everything together, I would say you get a nice soundstage for a closed back headphone. It sounds pretty open for a closed back headphone in my opinion. Really good imaging. Then when it comes to just the overall sound, the mid-range is nice and full, very pleasant. When it comes to just male, female vocals, everything just sounds good. Instrument sounds great. In the mid-range, the treble is just a little bit bright. I wouldn't say it's the best or the worst thing, but you know, it is overly enhanced. And yeah, I think the overall sound, at least for $80, is pretty decent. The detail of the driver also, I would say, yeah, it's about what I expect around this price point. So pretty good detail as well. And of course, the build on this is really, really good, especially with all the kind of, you know, refinements I would say it has, or, you know, very similar to the Sennheiser headphones. So overall, I find it honestly a pretty nice headphone for $80. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe down below. Helps my videos out. I have links to Apos Audio, who, you know, sent me this headphone review. So if you guys are interested in purchasing, head to Apos Audio to get this. And of course, check out my other content. I did, you know, other headphone reviews like the Odyssey MM100. I think a lot of people are interested in that review. So check those out. And yeah.